Alrighty then, welcome back to episode 29 of the Midnight Release podcast. And today, blessed to be in the studio, we have got the one, the only Moose.
Hey, what's
Dangerous
going on?
Moose.
It's good to be back. We definitely dangerous today. All right.
Oh, dude. Before we get started, man, we have just been talking about some wild political things before we got into this, but before we get
unbased.
Before we get started, let the people know where they can find you and any projects or things that you're working on, you want to get promoted and get out there.
Yeah, currently always streaming on Twitch every Tuesday to Thursday. Usually playing with the boys. You can find me at twitch.tv/DangRousMoose. The E in dangerous is a 3. You can also find me on YouTube and TikTok, where I'm starting to post more often now, getting back into that. Shout out my sister for giving me Adobe Premiere, the new suite.
Yo,
right?
nice.
Editing's been fantastic. So
let me some
you
Premiere.
can find me on there. Absolutely.
And apologies for my voice. I've been fighting the flu for about a week or so got a bit of a congested sound, but we put it off long enough, so I wanted to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what to talk about anymore.
Oh no, I got plenty because I remember last time was sort of like a general thing where like you and I had we opened up with a bunch of stuff, talked about like some passions, we talked about like the gaming and everything, but like I feel like you and I missed out on some like big things where it was like, we missed out on like cooking a lot because you mentioned that, and then we didn't really get down to it. And I've been doing some like life changes, and I've got some more like meal prep stuff and going on. Yeah,
kind of life changes.
Just like I'm trying to like take more, not like I've always been good about taking care of myself, but like I guess now I'm looking at that more like meal prep life to where like I want to have things ready, and it's like sometimes you get home and you're sitting there and you're like, shit, I want to cook. You know what I mean? Like I don't, and then it's like at least now, like I've said, you know what? If I'm feeling up to on a weekend when I'm like free, I got some more energy or to do stuff, throw some stuff in. My mom bought me these really nice bento containers, and they're all like pre-measured. So like when you fill it up, I know this one's a cup, this one's 2 cups.
That's
and
nice.
Stuff. So like I've been really taking care of that, and like they've been so like I did like chicken, and I did some vegan taco kits last week, which was fun. And some like refried beans, and then I put like a corn tortilla in there, and then like I just store them up in the fridge, and whenever I need them, put like a not half glass, I guess like a little quarter of water inside of a measuring cup, put it in the microwave, makes it nice and like humid in there, so it's all moist on the reheat.
Okay.
Delicious, just delicious, and like wanting to like take care of myself in that regard. So now I got some like chicken in there, and I've got some like gnocchis I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna make like a pasta dish to store for the week. So like that's been sort of my thing, I guess, my big adventures lately. It's been really like aiming to take care of myself in that regard of like having something to where it's like I'm not just getting home being like, oh, I guess I'll just like mine calories, but then like you can mine calories, but then the meal isn't fulfilling. So at least now I have something that's fulfilling and don't have to worry about excess amount of crap,
Right. What made you want to start taking these life changes?
Well, I guess it would be that because like just being busy, and also like sometimes there's just points in like so I've been doing fasting for a while, like intermittent fasting, and then like so my mom recently she went to the doctors, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna try this new diet because like red meat was like having negative effects on her body. So she was like, all right, well, I'm being put on this different diet because like red meat's she has arthritis, so it causes like her hands to inflame. So they're gonna so she has to reduce what she's taking in there. And then I used to cook dinner for the whole family. Now she has her own thing, and now like mine's my own thing, and I'm just like, well, instead of me cooking for myself every night, and then because now I have more time to myself, so now I've been doing like more content and stuff. I figure I'll just meal prep so I can eat here at my desk, have something good to eat, so I still feel good. I'm not just like eating crappy or just some like ramen and like maybe some ground beef I cook up. At least it's a full.
I mean, that sounds
meal.
pretty good though.
It is good. Don't get me wrong, but like sometimes too, you just kind of like slap something together and you're like, yeah, I guess. And then like also too, it's I guess mainly to cut down on the snacking. Like I'll be hungrier late at night, and it's like what's around. You're like, damn, it's only like chips, and you're like, I kind of don't want to do that to myself, sort of anymore. So that was sort of like the big thing. Is having something like fulfilling that will keep me full, and then like I can burn the energy like while streaming or something, and at least I have something that's like not just junky and heavy. and it's
Right.
like prepared, so I know what's going into my body, and then I'm not like sluggish, or I'm not like greasy or anything, like that sort of yucky feeling. And I feel, even on my streams, like I feel more energized. I'm playing games better. I'm more inspired to edit and stuff. Like those sort of changes you do in your life have like effect in bigger areas than it would seem. Eat good, feel good, do good, right?
Yeah, the correlation is pretty like you can't really debate it. I've starting on February 29th, I have been doing a vegan diet
Oh,
for
okay,
this month
cool.
just to see what would happen. I had one off day. I'm aiming for this, but I've had, there's been like a couple situations where vegetarian was really the only option. And like one day on St. Patrick's Day where I had, like I had a piece of corned beef.
Okay.
Outside of that, I've been pretty good, been on it. And I don't know. Have you ever done that? Like tried to go full vegetarian or full vegan for a period of time?
No. I haven't personally myself. It's not that like I would like discourage anyone from doing it. I think like your lifestyle, your habit, go for it. It's just that like all my life I've been raised in the direction of eating meat and everything, and also we have so much stored the way my grandparents raised me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've always bought like specials and stuff, so there's always been meat in the house. So it's very difficult for me to go like I'm going vegetarian, because
Yeah,
then there's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be a lot of crap that goes bad. Um so, but I do like, I do also try to though go like with local stuff though, like find your butchers, find your farmhouses, sort of things, like find places to source that from instead of just going to like, Walmart or whatever. Like, screw Big Gross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Down with
down
the
with
man.
Big Gross.
Yeah, all my Canadians listening, down with Loblaws. You guys will get that, all right?
Yeah, that
um,
that stupid place.
yeah.
So stupid.
Listen. It was like a higher end,
Business.
like Walgreens. What would you say like your higher end, like bougie sort of like?
Grocery
Is
store
that Walgreens? Is that like Walgreens for you? I hear a lot about
for
Walgreens.
for groceries.
Yeah, groceries, like a hot plates in there. They like.
I would say like Publix in the
Okay.
southeast. That's like a
Okay.
bit of a nicer, probably a little more expensive. Oh, Whole Foods.
Okay. Yeah. Because like
A
that's
Sprouts.
okay. That's the kind of what Loblaws is. Like there's a butcher inside of it. There's like a restaurant that serves like hot plates inside of it. There's like, take your own stuff out, like rotisserie chickens you can take out, and everything is like very high quality. But because of like the economy and everything, hey look, we somehow went back political.
Business.
The guy who owns the place, like the company, Galen Weston, fuck that guy. Sorry, mind my language. But he just like jacked prices so hard. Like someone saw it was like $48 for two steaks, and someone was like, "Huh?" And then so like more and more
Business.
stuff. Yeah, business. So like support local and stuff like that. But like going back to your saying for like vegan alternatives and stuff, like I've never personally tried to do it. I know my mom has tried to do it, and she's doing it now. She's been pretty good about sticking to it. She's run into a lot of issues where she's kind of like, it's difficult. Like, if you're not really going out there and finding like recipes or looking at like different cultures to make their food correctly, you're gonna kind of like, I'm not saying that like it's a boring life. It is a very exciting life with the new things you get to do and try. But if you're not equipped to make that life exciting, you will hate that life.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of the St. Patrick's Day where I had some of the corned beef and some chicken, for the rest of the month, I think initially I didn't put a lot of thought into what I was purchasing. I was like, oh, you got to get beans, dude. Vegans love beans, Yeah, so I
It's
bought
like
beans,
one of the main
a
sources
lot
of
of raw
protein.
veggies, rice, potatoes. That's kind of all I looked at. I will say within the first 2 weeks, there's like a violent shift to to your BMs. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, yep.
And it's pretty aggressive. Where I was like, am I okay? Like, should I get this checked out? And then once you get past that, I started waking up a lot easier. Not having to pound coffee in the morning, just like waking up, being awake. I know like low energy is a fear that a lot of people have about it, but you kind of just naturally adjust. Like your body just fixes thing, like it adjusts for shortages at the best that it can. And like, I feel a lot. I've never felt really bloated during this month. Like after any meal, I can eat. I get hungrier a lot sooner, so I'm eating between between each meal is a shorter amount of time, so like I'm not feeling as satiated, but it's it's like okay, yeah, I had carrots and hummus and I had a handful of nuts and dried fruit and I'm good for 2.5 hours. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're eating again? You're like, yeah, but look what I ate before. Like it's,
Well, the
you know what I mean?
calorie take that you take in from like oily foods, meats, like fried foods and stuff, like 1,000 calories was like it's a lot more heavy, right? On yourself. Like you get a lot less quantity
Yeah.
when you eat like even now like I'm still eating meat, but like I have like a whole chicken breast and then I'll have like small amount of carbs and a large amount of veggies. Like veggies you and stuff like that, like you have to intake more because they will naturally have a smaller impact on your body,
Right, right.
be digested quicker. Like when I did those like vegan taco kits, I used that plant-based meat for a week. And then I did like beans and then I had like the corn tortilla. So like in a sense, I guess I did vegan for a week without realizing it. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but I
it's not
agree
oh,
with you.
good.
That time I was hungry as hell. I was like, damn, I'm not full. You
Right.
know, it's
I
like
felt like I was
this
eating a lot.
yeah, but then I looked at what I was actually taking. I'm like, I'm like really under my calorie count. Like I try to maintain like maybe like 800 to like or like 1,000 to 1,200 calories because I'm a giant. I'm 6'3". I'm
Hmm.
built like the lumberjack and the tree, as I like to describe it.
Hmm.
So like when I was like, dude, I'm only taking like 600 calories, and I'm supposed to have like my maximum is like 2,900. So I've been like aiming for like 1,000, 1,002, like 1,200 stuff like that. Just like keep it fair, and I'm like under that by half. I'm like, oh my lord, you know. So,
Right.
um, but yeah,
But the volume, it's confusing because the volume, I can eat a giant plate of broccoli and you're like, yeah, you still need to ingest 800 more calories. You're like, what? Like I'm stuffed,
yeah. You're like,
It's
that's it.
It's been a lot of Chipotle burritos because the
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle veggie burrito is vegan. I've felt like way less guilt about eating potatoes for whatever reason. Like those make me super full. But I felt I've lost close to about like 8 or 9 pounds just from I haven't changed my workout schedule or anything like that. So it's just the food side of it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been interesting. I think I'm gonna try to like keep this diet after, but try to inject um a protein in the morning. So eggs. I miss eggs a lot. So like like
Breakfast foods are my weakness, bro. Breakfast foods are
yeah,
so my weakness.
it sucks. It's my favorite. And then maybe doing like vegetarian all day and then a protein at night or something like that because I
Hmm.
feel way better after meals. Like
Yeah.
I can't argue that side. Like I feel better.
Are
Um,
you afraid of like protein shakes and stuff? Do you want to
no, I
keep
have a
like
protein shake
natural?
every day.
Okay, cool,
I have
cool.
a vegan protein. It's actually ends up being like the at least the best flavored one that I've found so far.
Hmm.
Um, and so I have a protein shake, a vegan protein shake, and then with that, and like I feel like my skin's cleared up a little bit. Um, I just feel I don't know. I feel like lighter, kind of just across the board,
Yep.
and I like that feeling. So I'm just gonna inject simple proteins back into it. Um,
Yeah.
for the sake of muscle mass and but I think just kind of keep that diet that way. Like I don't know. I just feel better.
Hmm. If you do look into stuff too, like say you're interested in maybe adding chicken or something like so like a light protein like that, my butchers they offer halal chicken. And even that style of preparation, I feel the difference. Like even when you cook it, like the meat has like no blood in it, it's a lot easier to cook. It comes out a lot lighter. The iron count is like not as intense. Um, and just overall, like it's a more cared for meat in the same way too. And it's a lot cleaner. So if you're ever interested in doing that, I would suggest giving that a little bit of look into.
Interesting.
If you find yourself being like, I kind of like maybe you want to add a chicken breast or something,
Oh, I definitely want to
definitely,
bring it back. I definitely want to
yeah,
bring some like protein back into the daily regimen. Um, but I just got to figure out a better way to do it.
yeah, definitely give that a look. It's a lot cleaner and it digests so much easier too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I actually came into this. I was gonna ask because I was like, all right, we didn't talk about cooking last time, so it's gonna be like I wanted to like expand some things. I want to do like a recipe exchange, but I
ooh.
didn't know you were going vegan until like 5 minutes ago.
Well, I just
So
try. I just wanted to try it for my. I've never tried it. I've never done it. I was like, man, I wonder what this will feel like. What this will do for me. I'm just like interested because I
yeah,
do want to try eventually doing like the carnivore diet for a month and see how I feel from that as well.
okay,
Um,
yeah, I've seen some really intense stuff like that. I've heard also a lot of things like I know your own personal life too, like, but like I know on like certain people it can elevate their intensities with emotions. I've seen just because of the pure amount of like meat and everything you're putting. I'm not kidding. Like it can elevate your testosterone
is
pretty
that why I've been
high.
crying so much this month?
Well, yeah, I guess it's gone because you're not eating much, but like you know
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there has been times where people are just like eating so much meat they genuinely have like this like
Oh,
there's
they
so
get more
much in them.
aggressive and
They do. So like if you I don't know if you're naturally find yourself irritable, like I know myself, like when I'm focused and doing stuff I can get agitated easily. So like that's why I try to like avoid eating beforehand or something like that, where it's just like if I need to focus I work better on like on a lighter emptier stomach than anything else.
yeah, yeah. Oh
So
yeah, that's 100% true. I believe that.
I was not this is so cool. I wasn't expecting any of this podcast to go this direction. I this is cool.
I was expecting the conversation before we started.
I don't know if we can go back to that one. That one was a little very unbased. No, this is fun though. Like yeah, I've always like I've always seen diets or like lifestyle changes. But I've never like done them like you have. So I guess it's interesting now because like I've always like you heard about going vegan or carnivore diets, but I've always like I just feel like I like my lifestyle. It's just about moderation is always the way I've looked at things. So it's like I like chocolate. I have a sweet tooth and stuff
Mm,
like that. But it's just more the fact it's just like all right, I just can't down the whole candy bar or like can't eat a whole bag of
right,
chips.
right. Well,
And like
I'd never want to go full bore into one life, in quotes lifestyle.
yeah,
I think that that's what it is. It's like when people say I'm vegan, I'm a vegetarian. You're like, okay, that's like I just like the variety of it. I think there are, I think there are vegan dishes that would taste better than, a steak meal. I think there's particular cuts of meat or the way the burgers is constructed that's going to knock out any salad on the face of the planet. I don't care what's in it,
I agree.
type of thing.
Food is a creation, and like at
Right.
the end of the day, it's how well the chef or yourself puts it together. Like, I don't doubt that there's fantastic salads out there, or anything like that. It's just
And some
like
days that's what you want. You're like, damn,
yeah, exactly.
I want a fire salad. And like, I don't want to, I really don't want to limit myself. But I want to be able to spoil myself in that moment. It's
Hmm.
like, hey, we're gonna have the deep fried catfish with the deep fried jalapeno cheese hush puppies, and we've got fresh, but like, and then I don't want to have to say no to that because because 2 weeks prior I worked my ass off. Like I stayed
Yeah.
strict, I didn't cheat, and so when I get to
Hmm.
that moment, I want to be able to enjoy that. Like that's my goal. It's like I
Dude,
never
I
want to be
think
able to say no when I want to say yes.
I had a similar way of looking at that. That's why with this meal prep thing, like I'm making meals that would sound like, oh, that's very high calorie, but like cutting it down and putting your own care into it, you can still make that work in a good lifestyle. You know.
Right.
Also, what's a hush puppy?
Well, so I was first introduced to hush puppies as a young lad.
Mhm.
Let me see if it's like I think it's a traditionally southern thing. I don't think that you find them like in very many other places. Where I've only had the option to eat hush puppies is with seafood. Typically,
Okay.
it's like served with seafood, but it is a deep fried. It's usually like a ball shaped, and it's cornmeal.
Oh. Oh. Ooh, that sounds heavy. Okay.
So they are usually deep fried, and like there's obviously a crazy amount of flavors. So like you can inject, jalapenos. You can have um, whatever like flavor that you want to put in it. But typically, when I have it, it's always served with like seafood dishes or
It
crawfish
sounds very
boil.
absorbent.
Yeah, think of it as like deep south falafel.
Okay, that's a great way of describing
You
it.
know what I
Because like
mean?
if it's being served with like seafood dishes, like it sounds like it's kind of trying to be absorbent of the flavors of the other parts of the dish. You know? Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Because like
And I, I don't know that it is traditionally southern, but that's the only place where I've found
I
it
think I've
and
only
had it.
heard of like Southern hush puppies. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
so that's the best way I can describe it. It's like the similar texture to a falafel.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. My only experience with eating like something cornmeal based is my nonna. She also happy birthday nonna. She had
Shout out.
shout out Graham Graham.
Yeah, yeah.
She we in the homeland they have this like poor people food which is called polenta, which is literally just a bowl of cooked cornmeal and then tomato sauce. It's usually like a winter meal. It's very heavy, very rich. Like, you gotta survive the winter. You're effectively heating your body and storing a lot of food in there.
Yeah.
And it's like she'll try to make it sometimes and she'll like serve the traditional servings, which is just schlop,
Right, right,
just
right.
fat
Kind of like
schlops of
grits,
corn.
yeah.
Yeah, like fat schlops of just cornmeal, just cooked cornmeal, like not cooked, but it's like it's like plateable, sort of like very thick, viscous, and then like just tomato sauce on top of it. So like when I hear cornmeal, like it's very heavy to me, and that's like sort of my only experience of any sort of cornmeal meal, I guess. Outside of you describing hush puppies. Um,
Yeah, it's like they're usually super crispy on the outside, which makes them they're
Oh,
super good
those are
because
good. She makes like little discs now, like
yeah.
very small discs of polenta, and puts a little sauce and cheese on it, and she crisps them up. Oh yeah, so I think I get what hush puppies are now a little bit. Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
see the
like
picture. Those look good.
yeah, and like some of them sometimes they're kind of sweet, but they're usually like served with a sauce or they're served
Yeah.
on the side of like something that you can eventually dip it into. They come like I've had it with gumbo before.
Okay.
Any like fast food seafood place that you go to in the south, the southeast, they'll have hush puppies. Any kind of like can't even think of the word like Creole restaurant will probably have hush puppies. Um,
Okay.
it's they're just like it's like hot fried flavored cornmeal. It's good. It's good.
It does sound good. I'm happy that we just spoke for like 5-10 minutes about cornmeal. This is.
Hey man, this is the type of content you get. Don't forget to subscribe. Ghost Stories
Hell
Gaming,
yeah.
Ghost Stories Games on all things social. I'll see you guys.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's you don't get content like this anywhere else.
No.
What other ADHD rant of cornmeal can you find on the internet?
Hush puppies were pretty much it.
Yeah.
No,
It does sound good.
no, it's good. It's good. It's good with stuff. With stuff.
Mhm.
But
So, you and we met through a old content organization. Um, and recently there has been a lot of going on. I don't know if you've kept up with it or seen a lot of it. Do you keep up with sort of like esports talk? I know you keep up with gaming news, but have you kept up with anything that recently?
with esports talk,
Yeah. So there.
um, probably not really what's outside of like a feed. I have like my focus has shifted so much to single player and solo YouTube content as of late. I'm just like not as plugged into those worlds.
Okay. I just want to quickly bring this up because I think you might find this really, really interesting and fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a company, a Canadian company, a French Canadian company. I can already hear him
I'm
just like,
out.
oh, here we go. He's out. He's out. So there is a
Let me
French
guess, they
Canadian.
want something. Ugh.
No, no, they didn't actually. So in the Rainbow Six esports scene where I like got my started and everything,
Mhm.
um, there is a organization called Mirage Esports,
Uh,
and they have notoriously
Is
there's
there
a
E
whole big.
backwards?
I wish it was, but it's actually in the front. It looks terrible.
Okay.
Um, it's so bad.
That checks out.
They owed like thousands of dollars to players. They have never paid these players or anything, and Ubisoft had like let them stay in the league for so long, effectively. And they like ruined like there's so many. There's this one coach they had that he's owed like maybe like I think it's upward of like
Who owns the
six
team?
figures. His name is Carl.
Who?
He's a real estate. I don't know, some dude named
Oh,
Carl.
oh, literally one guy. Okay.
Well, he's a business
Oh,
tycoon. Like
business.
I think he's a landlord, to give you an idea what kind of shit person we're dealing with. So like
Business.
yeah, so like he comes in, he like ruins all these people's lives, and Ubisoft shills out all this money effectively to like keep them in, get them like this team house, the league's going on. It's going terribly. So then recently it was brought to light by like pretty much like the biggest news reporter for esports, being like Jake Lucky.
Yeah, I know him.
Um, yeah, he did like an interview with the former coach DNA about how much money they're owed, the
Oh,
crappy living conditions. One day, the Mirage team came home to their team house and saw an eviction notice.
dude, what?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Are there any like? Are there any esport teams that are? They all just seem so sketch. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
Um,
I know they're not, but like maybe it's just like the bubble that is a feed. You know, so all the news you see is
esports,
negative.
yeah, that's true. All you do see is negative. It's also difficult because esports are a lot like esports orgs are just kind of like people in a weird way. Like you and me, like we met, we engage on some stuff, we proved our work ethics and like communication to each other. And then like it's kind of the same thing for an esports org. It's like, all right, well, I'm signing here. I'm going to commit to working for you. You pay me money and this and that. And then like if you don't do that, well, you're just gonna get publicly shamed for it and probably lose out on all your profits anyways.
Are they?
Hashtag cancel bros. You know? Um so like
Sneak peek.
like yeah, sneak peek. But
Are
like
they
that
contractors? Like,
pretty much, yeah. That'd be the best way. It's just
is
like,
that
all right,
what the tax
like
would be? It'd be like a
it'd be
contractor.
like, so like I come to you. So like my personal favorite organization is Space Station Gaming. I think they make really good merchandise. They make really good content. They really do focus and support their teams. Like Halo, for the longest time, was dying. That Halo Infinite was in the shits, and that org never left the scene. Like C9 bailed. Like C9, like Cloud9, LG. Those are really big, like business tycoon orgs, sort of thing, where they're like, "Oh, if it's a dying scene, we don't really give a shit. Like we're bigger than you." Type beat is how they view themselves. Um, and then you have orgs that are like SSG or Space Station Gaming, which are just like, we see the fans, we see the players, and we see the scene. So we're going to use our brand along with like with Halo, with Siege. Now they just recently gone to Overwatch to bring these teams that people love, support those players properly, and even promote the games with the companies that they're working with. Like if it wasn't for Space Station Gaming, Siege probably wouldn't have even been as popular as they are. Or
Well,
right now in
they
Over
had Jinxie, right?
yeah, SSG signed Jinxie.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
To give you an idea, like it's a very for the people type org, like how Optic got their startings. Except Space Stations are doing it in their own way, right?
Right.
They've re-innovated that way of getting in that foothold of being like, so yeah, so like, hey Jinxie, you come stream for us, we're gonna pay you X amount to rep our brand. You have our sponsor deals. You have to just rock our branding. You have to do promotion with us and this and that, and then like you have to like promote. So like it's like an exchange of promotion for money, but then in the way it's like instead of just being like, well now it's just Space Station Jinxie, and then they hope that Jinxie's fans just go over there and they don't do anything. They're flying him out to do like the day they signed him, they flew him out to their headquarters to do a 24-hour stream with the whole SSG team like in their office that also looks really sick. They got a slide in there. Like it's sick. Um and they got like all this cool stuff and they're like doing content, they're bringing him gags and stuff, they're having a good time, like they're all being like people in a sense, and it's all broken down very digestible sort of thing to where it's not just like, all right, well I've joined LG is owned by the Vancouver Canucks, they don't give a shit about me, bye. It's like great to be here, but they're gonna ditch me because if I don't really
Right.
bring anything to them. So like I think that it's important that if you're in esports and you're in like that scene, you have to respect the fans because it's very easy for like no one just to give a shit about you if you're bad.
Yeah. I th- the first time that I actually watched or got plugged into esport teams was through Rocket League.
Mm-hmm. Rocket League's a great esport. It's very fun.
Yeah, and that's where I like learned all about because Space Station had a team, C9 had a team. I want to say, is it Fox Esports?
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Echo Fox.
Echo Fox. I want to say they had a team, maybe. The one that starts with M. God, I can't remember it, dude.
Moist Esports.
Moist Esports. That doesn't
Yeah,
seem
Moist Critical's
right.
running an org right now.
That's
So
it, right?
there's M80. There's Moist Esports.
So sorry. So to go back to the story, so what's happening with these people then? So it's just one dude who's like just like reneging on all the contracts.
Yeah, so one dude owes like a bunch of kids pretty much money, and like they're pretty much not gonna get paid. Like something's got to give to the point where they get paid. Like I have a friend who played on that Mirage team. He luckily got paid eventually. Like it took him forever to get it. But there even be like times where he's like going to play like his pro games, and they didn't get him a jersey until they kicked him from the team. like like shit like that. So like people are owed a lot of money. They had like really bad contract spots. Ubisoft wanted to keep them in because they're French Canadian, and Ubisoft is French Canadian, and blah blah blah.
So is Ubisoft funding
Ubisoft
them?
in a bad way, yes. Like Ubisoft wanted a franchise. You have to pay in for the franchise. They went down to Vegas. You had to get a team house. You had to go to the HyperX Arena, and you all had to compete there, and you had to take care of your players, but in return, you got your skins in game, which you got a huge chunk of money from, which your fans could buy in game, and that's how they'd support you.
That's cool.
Well, Mirage was like, well, we're just not going to pay our players. We're not really going to take care of the house. We don't really care what's going on. I guess we'll get money. And then Ubisoft was like, well, we want you to stay in because like you're Canadian and this and that, and we want teams to be a part of it. And it's just like, I don't know why they decided to help them out so much. They helped out other teams too, but they practically funded the whole Mirage operation for a long time. And that
because they're French Canadian.
Pretty much. Like I'm pretty sure the dude Carl's like friends with one of the execs in Ubisoft I beat. So
let's give Carl a goog real quick.
I don't even dude, I gotta find his name. He's just he's not real. Some crypto bro real estate guy who like does some weird shit. But yeah, that's just kind of a random thing I wanted to bring up. Because also I want to transition into gaming because you talked about single player games. Have you seen Dragon's Dogma 2?
Here's what I've seen about Dragon's Dogma 2. I saw this article about having to purchase. You had to buy a customization pack to be able to customize your character. Is that
Perfect.
true?
Yes, because it's all conspiracy theory right now.
Wait, is that true though?
Yes, that microtransaction is real. But if you look at the actual here, I'll pull it up for you. Are you able to see Discord while you have all your stuff up?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and screen share it with you because it's really funny. There we go. All right. So we're going to go into the store here, and I don't know if it's still there. I can't spell dragon. So we're going to go Dragon Dogmas 2. By the way, $94 Canadian, everyone. That's not my actual birthday, so don't worry about it. $94 everyone.
Wait. Okay, so the reviews are mixed, right? Or they're bad?
So initially, this was review bombed to shit. This was super negative, and now they've got like this character creator and storage thing you can download. So the thing here is the really weird DLC, and I don't know if it's been changed yet.
And we're on Steam for those of you listening.
Yes, it hasn't been changed, and now I'm going to let Ghosty take a look at this because I can already hear his brain being confused on why the hell there's lettering on these things. Let me know when you processed it.
My God, the flu. I can't.
All right. So there is a conspiracy going around.
Restore the dead to life. $1.39.
There is a conspiracy that's going around.
Do you have to buy your respawns?
No, but yes, but no.
Wait, what?
Let me explain. So in the game, you just start off the game like normal. You have like a character creation. You can like you like the game's hard, but not hard enough to where you'll need to buy wake stones and like revive stones. And do they still have it? I don't know if they have the jail key still.
Are these
I don't think.
one-time use?
Yes. You didn't let me get to the punchline. You beat me to it, but yes. That's why they're labeled A, B, C, D, and E. You can only buy them once.
And you can only use them one time.
You can only use them one time.
You can only revive yourself one time?
You get, don't get me wrong, you get wake stones in the game. There's the I think this is the key. Yeah, makeshift, this is a jail key. Obtain the key to Gal of Cruel Make. It will break after single use. You get like jail keys early on in the game. It's one of the first items you get. And then you can buy it again. For only a one-time use.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know. It's hilarious. So people believe the conspiracy is that the actual developers of Dragon Dogma,
Capcom.
were like, yeah, but people believe the publisher of Capcom, like the big suits that would tell you like how to like
monetize
money.
It.
Yeah. We're like, we want microtransactions in the game. And then the company was like, F you. Why would we put microtransactions in this game? It makes no sense. It's just a single player Baldur's Gate-esque like or just, fantasy whatever game.
Fantasy RPG.
Yeah. So they said, all right, screw it. Here's your microtransactions. We're going to put literally useless things in the game that no one's going to buy, but they're there just for you, just to make the suits happy.
Please read the review of Restored to Dead Life. Please read
this one?
Just let's see what the reviews are on this thing.
All right. Let's see what the actual description is first. So it says this DLC doesn't. Oh, never mind. Where's the description here? Okay, never mind. Let's go down to reviews.
Does it even have a description?
Right here about this content. Note: there are other set products which include this product. Be aware of duplicate purchases. So you can get scammed out of it, which is great. Gain 1 wake stone, a stone with miraculous magic formed of wake stone shards. It holds the power to restore the dead once to life. This consumable item is also obtained in game. This item cannot be gifted to other online players. After purchase, this content will appear in your game storage at the inn. Oh my god, wake stone shard is obtainable in game. They literally have to tell you.
So weird. This is so strange.
So the devs are telling you over and over, you can just get this in the game, but you can also just buy it once for $139 Canadian. By the way.
So what's the review on this?
Let's see. I don't know who is in charge of this DLC, but they should be fired. This is unacceptable, completely unacceptable. This is the kind of stuff you should hear talk about capitalism and consequences. So this guy's just
yeah.
He's on.
Give me a funny one.
That's what I'm looking for. The entire microtransaction was a joke. There's a major issue with wake stones implemented in the game. If you die in an encounter and reload your save, you will have max HP reduced every time you reload a save.
Wait. Are they saying that's a bug?
Yeah.
Every time you reload, you have less health. That's hilarious.
No, but like I think like say you like have 100 out of 100 health, you'll load in, you'll be like 90 out of 90. Like it lowers your overall thing. And then apparently it can soft lock your game because you'll need a certain amount of health to progress.
Oh, that is amazing.
Wait, this was in the pre-order deluxe edition. Oh no. I love microtransactions by single player games. I've never asked for it in here.
That's the one. That's what I was waiting for. Oh.
I'm still dead inside.
Thumbs up though. He gave a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Oh god.
That is so weird, man. But the game is good though, right?
I have seen funny things from it to where it's like, this is a really good game. I just feel that this is one of those things that, like, this is here, and I feel that, like, yes, be outraged at stupid things.
That's why there's just so many of them. There's so many of them.
but they're just basic things like a warp location marker. You get like
Like a fast travel thing.
Yeah, you can buy a fast travel marker, but I think you can get them in game anyways.
Yeah,
Like,
so Dredge had something like this, but you bought like a single key. It's like a $5 key or something, and you go to this specific island and you open it, and there's a bunch of like, I think it was art related. Like you get custom music that they made and art styles and like wallpapers. So it's like a little, it's like a little press kit kind of, but for the player.
Ubisoft actually does that. They have the loyalty programs,
Yeah.
where like if you play like I played a lot of Ubisoft games back when they were good. Shout out Assassin's Creed 2. Like I played all the Assassin's Creeds. I played like the Ghost Recon games. Like I played the original Rainbow Six Vegas games. Like I've been playing Ubisoft games for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And eventually they had like this system. I think I can pull it up, even though hopefully this Ubisoft Connect is terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible. God, they fell off so hard. But they have like the Uplay coins you can like cash in, and you can get discounts on purchases.
Oh,
not
Skull and Bones, dude. Nice. You buy that? You boot that? You been booting that up lately?
I can't wait to talk shit about that one after this. So like, but you can get like in-game skins and like little rewards, and you got rewarded for playing other games. Like I miss when companies just did stuff like that, and said it wasn't just like, all right, how do we microtransaction
so bizarre, man.
$94 game?
That's so crazy. Yeah, so the Dredge one, they had that in there, and like all the reviews were positive. They're like, hey, we know this. Nope, we don't need this. But people kind of came to this conclusion that the publisher forced them to put something in. Mm-hmm. And so all the reviews were positive, and people were just saying, hey, your game's like $12 or whatever, so I'm gonna buy this as a tip. So this movement got behind it, like, hey, if you want to tip the people who made Dredge, buy their little extra key thing. That's like a good way to tip the game and bring more success to it. But the internet decided like, oh yeah, it's just publishers forcing them to have some kind of microtransaction included, so they just included one little thing. And and this is like the opposite, a gross mistake.
I don't think
on the opposite direction. I've never seen this before.
I've never seen a microtransaction labeled A, B, C, D, and E. Like,
that's so weird, dude.
This is hilarious.
This is games have gotten so big that money people who don't care about it say, hey, we let's get our hands in there. Let's just put a little bit of our flair and they just want their name on the, they want the name on the box, and then you get that, and everyone's like, ew, that's kind of grimy. I don't want to touch that.
It is grimy. It's very gross. I don't understand this, like, and then people also, because it's Capcom, people are like, oh god, the next Monster Hunter is coming out in 2 years. Or like at the end of 2020, next year. It's what, December 2025? The Wilds, that like open world Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
People are like, well, if this is the shit we're getting here, it's just like, is Capcom like gonna learn? Like, because Monster Hunter's had microtransactions, they've always been cosmetic though.
As they fucking should be.
As they fucking should be. But like, people are just like, great. Is there gonna be like a stupid system in the game where it's like, because it's open world, there's gonna be like a rest system? Can I buy better sleeping bag? Can I buy better like, starter kit?
I can't wait for single player as a service games. I'm so pumped for that.
Oh, dude, it's like,
I'm so pumped. I can't wait to pay a $5 a month subscription to play a single player game.
I can't take it. I can't.
It's coming, man. It's coming. Someone's gonna try it. I want to say it. I want to say it's already been proposed. It's like, I think it was a Ubisoft person who said that they.
Get prepared not to own your games anymore.
Yeah, something like that. Where you're like, hey, if you're gonna play our game for 100 hours, you should be paying us the whole time. And you're like, ugh. That's so gross.
That's
so you end up paying. So the thought is like, you pay a subscription fee, like Game Pass, and that's the only option. You can't own anything, so you have to pay a subscription fee to play games. And it's like,
how do you feel about Game Passes?
I've had Game Pass and like Xbox specifically.
I like the Xbox One a lot.
I think you have a huge selection, but things that they rely on is like, yeah, I'm gonna own Game Pass, but I'm only gonna play realistically, I'm going to play 20% of the 100% of games that I have on there. I don't know if that affects them really or not, but that's just what ends up happening. But I think it's a good. I think it's worth the subscription because they put new games on there. The only bummer is like if it's especially if it's an online game, they could just decide, hey, we're not going to carry this anymore, and then you're just what, out of luck.
Yeah. I know they've been expanding along the single player, like the
I think
Persona
it's good for
3.
single player games.
Yeah, Persona 3's on there, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's good for
that
single
is
player games.
really good. Yeah, we were talking about like crummy shit and game passes and weird live subscriptions and bad companies, and somehow Ubisoft keeps coming up. You know that Ubisoft's live subscription, Ubisoft Plus, is $20 a month.
Well, when you got hard hitters like, the first quadruple A game ever made.
Yeah. And then you have Skull and Bones, which
Oh,
how 9 years delayed? 7 years delayed constantly? How long was Skull and Bones delayed? It was announced, let's see, Ubisoft announced that the release was pushed back. Oh god, just kept how many times was it pushed back?
11 years in development.
11 years. 11 years.
You know what?
Described
You know
as
what took 10 years to
quadruple
make?
A.
Stardew Valley. You know how much more successful Stardew Valley is than it?
Have you played the new update for it? It's so nice.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
Out on my dog. I love it.
One guy, by the way, just one person.
One guy.
You took a whole ass team to build Skull and Bones in 11 years.
Skull and Bones was literally just Assassin's Creed Black Flag's ship combat, and then they made it bad, and then they made it worse, and then I saw people like it was so bad that I saw one tweet about it, and that was it. Like no one spoke about it. I haven't seen any funny ha-has. It just died.
You know what you could have done? You could have just made Assassin's Creed Black Flag 2.
Yeah, which they did actually. They made a story about the Edward's like crewmaster, I believe he gets promoted to in the end. Spoilers for 10-year-old game, my bad.
They actually made a full sequel for it.
Not a sequel, but like a story about him, because I think he returns to the Caribbean, and it's like a piece about like him becoming an assassin and like helping slaves and stuff.
Mm.
But it's really good. It's really good. You know, it's not good. Skull and Bones. Like that.
I wish we had a bowl of hush puppies while we were shitting on Ubisoft right now.
Right, dude? Oh my god. Like what all right. When it comes down to like companies that just constantly fumble the bag, like we all know it's between EA and Ubisoft. But like at what point
I'd say Blizzard's not too far behind.
They got eaten up by Micro. Okay, all right. Perfect. I get to accidentally do some Blizzard defending here because either something bad's about to happen or we're actually finally moving in a way of the right direction. So Blizzard Activision has made like Overwatch. They've made some really big strides to get off the Bobby Kotick shipwreck. They've finally made it so you don't have to buy the battle pass to get new heroes. You finally earn the premium credit like currency through the battle pass. They're like actually focusing on balancing the game. They're not trying to force the single player thing anymore, which I know was a big thing for people who were like,
remember when they're
Overwatch
like,
2?
we're gonna release a full sequel and it's gonna have PvE, and then they canceled it after it came out? Remember that?
Yeah, I was there, and like the thing is that
Damn.
like Overwatch is just not a single player game though. Like there's some fun like little things you can do.
Like the events, like the Halloween event is fun. That's still multiplayer. You still have,
Yeah, you're still playing co-op with your friends, and like the proposed single player was really a good idea. It's just that like it's not what the developers wanted to do. The developers made the game to be a competitive shooter, and they've even brought it back. Like honestly, like this season of Overwatch, as much flack as it gets, it's been really fun. It's all roles finally mean something. Like you can tell the direction of the dev team has been taken back from just some, like you saw the story. Bobby Kotick gets fired. People start coming out being like, yeah, Overwatch 2 was really sabotaged by him. He just wanted cash grabs. Like he didn't give a shit. Like single player had no support pretty much. Like he was ready to pull the plug at the first instance. Like he gave death threats to some of the devs that were like, this is a really bad idea. Like you hear nightmare stories like that. And I know Microsoft isn't perfect, but like at least giving the developers back their games is nice, you know? and
Yeah.
they get to develop their games in their own directions, which is like something that should always be the first and foremost thing whatsoever that's done. Because the thing that made games good were the people that made them. Like not trying to force a microtransaction or make dude, do you remember the BR craze? Hyperscape, Battlefields, two Battlefield games dying out because they tried to force BRs into them. Ghost Recon,
Whatever happened to Hyperscape?
Ubisoft, it just died.
Oh,
Like
tie it.
you gotta like Ubisoft server, like still to this day, I competed in Siege. I remember sitting there. We had a scrim one day just to practice. It took us an hour and 30 minutes to get people in the lobby because of how piss poor the inviting system and connection to play with your friends are. Even when like Ubisoft was like got Shroud back into Siege to promote like the new season and the SI that was going on, the Six Invitational, their big like major world championship, I'm watching him sit there try to invite Jinxie and it's not working.
That's
Like
embarrassing.
this launcher is ass. This like everything they have is terrible. They still have a rampant cheater problem. Like they keep trying to fix it and they cannot plug the leaks, and they are a revolving door of like every time there's a new Ubisoft panel, like you will see a guy from Blizzard. The new guy's name is Aaron Keller, I believe. He's been there for a long time now. He's been there working before. He's taken over pretty well. He's really good at his developer notes. He's very transparent. You'll see people constantly at Call of Duty. You'll see like a bunch of things constantly. Um, and then you have like Ubisoft, which is just every time there's a panel at a major, which is like every 3 months sometimes, it's a new head of the same thing. I'm like, who are you? Like, where'd the old head go? Why is there someone else working? Like the vision's not, like you're changing. It's like you get in an Uber, but then all of a sudden a new guy gets in your Uber and he's driving you somewhere else. He's like, well, this is my car now. It's like, oh, okay, where are we going?
Yeah.
And you have to keep the direction alive. And like when games were simpler and you didn't have to worry about a lot of things and this whole like everyone has to make this or that or some sort of big marginal profit, it was a lot easier back then because it was just a vision and goal in mind, and that was it.
Well,
Anyways,
I'm not opposed to companies wanting to make money. I'm opposed to the feeling of that the devs aren't in charge. And I'm sure that's kind of just been the way for a while now, where money people are in charge. But it's like when money people get involved in stuff that they don't understand. So the only example I have is not even related to video games, it's related to like NFL football. The new owner of the Carolina Panthers is it's a Wall Street guru, like excellent at turning money into more money. Very, very rich person. The rumor mill goes is like he joined this team within the last year or two and decided that he was going to help pick players and like make decisions on who they were going to draft and hire and fire and trade or whatever. And then the Panthers end up being the worst team in the NFL. And then he has like a very public freak out during a game where he actually throws a drink on fans.
Oh,
Did you see that clip at all? The
So
owner in his I'm a big rich person box throwing food on the peasants. Like that's
I heard about that.
Which is like a bad look, turns out. But he's not. It's like, and the way I see this, it's like where you get money people going, this is what you should turn your game into to make the most money. And you're like, yeah, but but people don't like that. Like, I don't want to buy individual respawns for a single player game, dude.
That you don't need to buy them for. Like, that goes back to the whole conspiracy. People feel like the devs just put that there as like an FU to the developers, where like put shit in there. It's like,
put shitty shit in there. Make it look bad on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to put stuff in here because.
Right.
You told me to, but like, I don't know. It wasn't like a last minute type thing or make whatever.
We can feel that. We see like gamers see that and they go, "What the fuck is that?" Like we're
Pretty
not.
much.
This isn't a crowd of idiots. It's just not. The fan base is not idiots, right? And like it's like you're gonna notice when you're getting ripped off, and you just can't. It's a single player game, man. What? This is why Baldur's Gate was so I mean, part of it was, first of all, it was excellent, but it was also popular because there wasn't all this. I didn't have to make an account. I didn't have to like sign up for an email newsletter just to start playing. I just installed it and started. Like I didn't have to make all this extra stupid stuff just to go. And I don't know, man. It just, that's what people want.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ever ask for at the end of the day. Like, Christina and I, we finished Persona 3 Reload. I remember the last time I was on here, we talked about, I was excited for that to come out.
Yep.
Literally, we're sitting, like, you can, like, the UI for that game was, like, the person's was it the fourth time making UI for, like, a Persona game for Reload? I'm confirming with her.
Okay.
The Persona 3 Reload UI on the pause menu, that was, like, her fourth time making a UI, right? Fourth or fifth, and it's some of the most like people wrote articles on how good it is, right? Like when
cool.
there's love and care put into a game, the story's rich, the voice actors are like engaging, they're like promoting it, they're making you feel like they had a good time working on it. The company like put all that time and effort to add more to it. Like there's care in a game where it's like, all right, they asked me to pay like $95 Canadian for this game. They put the effort into it. I got my money's worth. I am satisfied. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth we've been playing through. The story's been so good, Christina forgot to level up her characters. Like, you know, like it's like there's big companies out there that exist that do care. Like even Square Enix, where they have released some stinkers, you know, there's still those diamonds where it's like, hey, like the devs have that control over it, and you know when it counts, and there's a reason why like Cloud as a character has existed since 1997. It's still talked about to this day because back then it was good, and today it still bangs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's all. Like, there's a reason Ezio. Like when you talk about Assassin's Creed, who's the first one you think of? It's the Italian.
Right.
Like that's who you think of. That's because there was care and effort put into the game. Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher. Like every game that you
Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside, yeah.
Business.
and then you have some suit come in where it's just like, all right, make me a new Splinter Cell because this one banged. It's like, all right, we're gonna add multiplayer to it. Why? And it's like, okay, don't do this. And it's like, but then also like, but the story wrapped up. Why am I like, it's done? It's like, don't care. Make it gritty. It's like,
don't care.
Yeah.
Michael Ironside, put him in.
Put him in, you know? Like it's things like that are just so like so full of disconnect. And I get it. Like it's a big company and big businesses and you want to make money, but like you made money off selling the games before, and I guarantee you probably just do the exact same if you just kept selling the damn game. So yeah, that's just kind of how
well, good game. I mean, it still rises. Like good games still rise to the top.
No matter what, they always do. Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Spider-Man
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. Like there's a reason those games stick around. They're good. You know, like you don't.
And they have longevity. Like you can play Stardew forever. You can play Baldur's Gate 3 over and over and over and over again. You have to. I don't know, man. It's just nice to have those examples as these beacons of like, hey, we know that there's fuckery afoot, and like you can use these titles as examples of people who are like, hey, we see it too, and we're not gonna, we're gonna like hold our ground, and people flock to it. It's just such a natural. Like, of course I would buy. Of course I spent the full amount on the pre-order of Baldur's Gate before I had even touched a Baldur's Gate game, because I knew. I fucking knew it. And then it was perfect, and I was like, I feel no remorse but spending full cash on this.
And you always know a game's gonna be really good when you see like very minimal amount of promotion for it, like that outside that AAA, like pre-order Warzone now and get RGB Ghost that does weird things. Like I didn't know Baldur's Gate 3 was coming out until like I saw like niche community talking about it.
Right.
Like you talking about it.
Dude, it's so true. Once you have a promotional on the front bag of Doritos, I'm not playing your game anymore. I'm out.
He's so real for that. Like I'll walk outside of a GameStop and we'll see like a cutout of a character. And it'd be like, oh shit, that game's coming out, and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But like, and then after then it shows up at game of the year, wins, just sweeps everything. Baldur's Gate's just eating things alive,
Right.
you know. And sure, you have like Spider-Man 2, which is really good. And you had God of War, really good. No, and like I really appreciate Sony for allowing those developers just to fucking cook.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? So.
And then you get games like Sea of Stars or Dave the Diver, or these are like more independent games that okay, everyone's get it. Dave the Diver wasn't as independent as we all say, but like Dave the Diver is an incredible game. It's an amazing game. I saw 0 minutes of advertising for that title. I just saw reviews and I was like, I think I gotta check this out.
I always get your notifications on TikTok being like, and it's like, should you buy X game? And you give like your review and everything. And I sit there and I'm just like, this game looks sick.
Yeah.
And I wish when Nintendo announced like they were doing that like indie corner and they were going to promote more indie games, like they would give people like that better promotion instead of just like a section on the eShop store and stuff like that. Cause I feel like when companies have the opportunity, especially with portability as your selling point, like it's a real shame that these developers that are making these wholesome little games that you can put together and you don't have to sink like crazy time into and you can pick up and play as you go. Like I really feel that like those people deserve a bigger platform than just a section on Nintendo, maybe like a couple times a year, being like, here's some new like indie titles, and they just like go through a slideshow, like find them in this button here on the eShop, and now to Pokemon where the birds don't flap, you know?
right.
You know, it's like
well,
stuff like
now I will say it's much easier now to be found than it ever has been, and I do think that smaller people have more of a fighting chance. Okay, yeah, the big players have all the money in advertising, but there's also, I mean, this is a reason like social media exists and Steam reviews exist and like or any marketplace. But like good games will be found. Like the internet will find it, Reddit will find it and share it and promote it. And like if your stuff's good, people will find it. I promise. It may not happen tomorrow. It may happen 5 years from now, but the good stuff is going to be found because people want to play good stuff. And I don't know, I think indie games are as good as they've ever been right now. Like Devolver Digital has an amazing library of like stuff I've never ever played before. Anything even remotely close to being familiar of a game. Like it's all just crazy. They did like Cult of the Lamb. They did Grease, which is really good.
Cult of the Lamb I've always heard good things about.
Yeah. I think it's Grease. I think they did Grease. Now I gotta double check myself. But yeah, man, I think indie games are in a good spot. I think single player games are in a really good spot too. I can't really speak to multiplayer games right now. I don't know.
As someone who plays multiplayer games, it's currently monopolized is like the best way to put it. Like you look at a BR, it's either like Warzone, like Fortnite I think has transcended a lot of it where that game will just always exist. But
it's like Minecraft for multiplayer kind of.
Warzone is that like content creator, more larger scale thing where it's like Tim the Tap Man, Courage, like, you know, Dr. Disrespect type beat where they're playing that constantly. And then you have like your tac shooters like Valorant and CS, and I feel like Valorant and CS are both strange because I feel like they're both very annoying games to make content for someone who's tried to do it. But I'd probably say since Valorant right now is the more like cool, hip, brain rotty thing people are into. And it's still just like dominating Monopoly. Obviously, League just gonna hold that spot forever. Like, sure, Dota's gonna be there and it's gonna have its diehards, but League will always be the easier game to look at. And it's never changing. It hasn't. Like we talked about earlier, we had that BR wave where people were like, "Let's make a BR. We're all dead," you know.
Halo BR would be sick though, right?
Halo BR would be sick, but it's like
no buts, dude. Just let it go. Just let it go.
I know, but like no one's gonna play it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm gonna play it
twice.
Not if it's really good and cool. Damn.
Okay, 4 times. Like, yeah, it can drop like Halo I feel could work like Halo's genuine multiplayer system could work really well with the BR.
Oh,
It's
it'd be
already has
great.
built-in
It'd be
shields,
so great.
the way the weapons work, everything else. I think it would be
Unlimited
fantastic too.
environments, a billion weapons.
Oh yeah.
Like,
But like
good to go. Let's do this.
uh,
Let's
I'd
fucking
be
do
down.
this.
I think it's time. I think it's time too. I know there was a whole backlash of like, no, Halo shouldn't do a BR, but like,
And then
I think
Infinite shit the bed right when it got launched. Remember that?
of course, Infinite shit the bed. They just like, there is nothing worse than when like that game I feel didn't actually get enough flack as it did, because no way they were like, yeah, this game's been in development for a really long time, and then
Most
after
expensive
like,
game ever made.
yeah, and then after the guy goes, well, realistically, what actually happened is we only like we finished one thing and then we just kind of said no and did the other thing. It's like what? So it's like you guys just stopped development of it, and then like, oh yeah, everyone actually kind of quit. I was like,
Lit.
uh-huh. It's like we had like 4 people actually working on it by the time it was done. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, nice. Cool. I don't know, bro.
I'm picturing a full panel and there's just you in the crowd. Yeah? Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
What else you got? Oh.
It's like, oh, you lied to everyone? Okay. Oh, we like, and then they always fix their damn games 2 years in, and it's 2 years too late.
Right. Is Infinite in a good spot right now?
Yeah.
I think it's. I've seen more. I feel like it's had a little bit of a revival.
But like Siege, it's just a controller shooter now. Like Siege is huge on console because of Jinxie and just kind of the way it is. And Halo Infinite is just like, when you make your PC game a like force one input only to be good in controller, it's chalked. Because like I don't want to plug it. Like if even as a casual like you just play single player games or stuff like that, or like I'll play like on a mouse and keyboard a lot in other games. I don't sit and practice with a controller, and then the game becomes competitive, and then it also isolates you from playing a lot of other games too. Unless you're like a professional player who can be like, yeah, I play games all day. My aim is what it is. I can pick up a mouse and keyboard, swap in between. But like playing Halo, the best way to experience Halo is on a controller. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I kind of want to play Valorant today. That does not support controller at all. He's just not having a good time. You know, my aim is shit. And you can spend a whole other 3 days trying to relearn your aim or something, where it's like, all right, buddy. All right. Just let people. We didn't need to break aim assist. I miss it when it just slowed down over when you used to aim on people. You know, just slow down a little bit. That's all aim assist had to be. I remember Twitter for days where I would open it up and I would see people like, look, I put my controller down and my controller tracked a guy around a building. It's like, okay, what the hell? You know? Jesus, the game's playing itself.
Right. Well, dude, we are almost in an hour and 10 minutes, man.
Hell yeah. As we always ramble.
Oh yeah. Well, really like hour 30 with the intro, the pre-intro, the offline intro.
That's true. Well, look, I mean, I always appreciate coming on these, because even now, like, I hope that I get the opportunity to come back, because there's more things I want to talk about. You're always an enjoyment of a conversation to have with, and I appreciate thank you again for letting me be here. So
yeah, you too, man. I appreciate it. So. Absolutely. It's just a nice way. I mean, I'll say it again. It's a nice way. It feels like it's still content, but it feels like not work. Yeah. And no, man, it's always a pleasure. Before we head out of here, why don't you let the people know again where they can find you and anything specific that you want promoted or that you're working on.
Yeah. So right now I don't have any big projects in the work, just kind of like re-amplifying how I'm editing and creating content right now. But you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dang3rousMoose. Same username on YouTube, same username on Twitter, same username on TikTok. The E in Dangerous is a 3. That's kind of about it, you know. Thanks.
Are you still doing that Mega Man thing?
It's sort of been little. I have kind of put that on the back burner right now. I haven't been. I'm with the whole like how life has been with me. I'm putting in a lot of time to my main sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that right now for me has been a passion project, and I have been feeling burnout with it. And there's no point in me forcing a passion. So
Totally.
yeah, that's just kind of how it's been right now.
I'll feel it.
But yeah, that's where you can find me right now. And like, cause I've been really feeling the whole TikTok and main channel content thing, like with this whole editing software, like getting the
We
new
might
stuff.
not even have TikTok soon.
I will. You won't. Ha.
Am I gonna watch my Zach Choi cooking videos and
Find it on my YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels.
Boo! I have to be a Reels guy now. Oh,
Real.
I hate Reels.
They're pretty cringe.
Yeah, that's weird. That's gonna be weird too. So I may not be on the talk anymore here soon.
We
I don't
have
even know
a
what that
whole new
looks like.
We have like whole new podcast conversation for next time now. I want to talk about emulators next time, and we're gonna talk about TikTok being banned. So let's get it going.
We can save TikTok for cancel bros.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. All right, next time I'll be a lot better probably. As always, guys, you can find me at Ghost Stories Gaming or Ghost Plays Games on all things socials. This has been episode 29 of the Midnight Release Podcast, and I will catch you guys next week.